To be the first in anything takes courage, it takes incredible fortitude.
When I think of first ever, I think of heroes.
I think of the black surgeons that came before me.
If I look at the unknown slave, their blood paved the way, was the mortar that joined the bricks that paved the road for black man's freedom. The month of February, which has been designated Black History Month, for me, I honor my great-grandmother, Lizzie Buckner.
I'd like to honor my great-grandmother, Eliza Brown. She was born a slave.
People like Harriet Tubman, people like Ida B. Wells, people like Ella Baker.
She is one of the unknown slaves.
As a young woman, she and a cousin of hers started a school for black children in Kentucky.
When I think of the heroes in my life, I don't think of the major people that you see in history books.
People like my wife, Marilyn Kershaw, people like my daughters.
Those who were captured, put on the ship, brought through the Middle Passage.
I think of my father, who originally never graduated from high school.
One of my favorite characters is actually John Parker.
Who were mistreated, who were stripped of everything, all dignity, all pride.
I'm a fourth-generation school teacher. I've tried, in a way, to live my life so that their efforts have not been in vain.
But while I was in school, went back, finished high school at night, went on to college and earned a doctorate degree.
And when I think of Black History Month, I think of a slew of wonderful memories of heroes in my life.
They could not capture their mind. They could not capture their soul.
John Parker was a former slave. He actually bought his freedom.
We are planning on honoring the African Americans that served in the Civil War and their families.
He actually moved here to Cincinnati for a short period of time, but ended up in Ripley, Ohio, became a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Well, he went back across the river to get slaves and help them to freedom.
Maybe someday we'll have a tomb for the unknown slave.
The only reason that I got to sit in the team picture in 1984 next to heroes like Jackie Joyner Kersee and FloJo and other great African American heroes of mine was because the people who came before me.
During spring break of 2007, my family and I drove down to Macon, Georgia and retraced part of the route that William and Ellen Craft traveled.
My mom and dad, and they both worked. Dad was in the Army back in the Korean conflict.
Lucy Ross, who escaped slavery and went to Camp Nelson, which not only served as a recruiting station for African American soldiers, but also a refugee camp for escaped slaves and their families.
Mom, she cooked, was a nurse, raised all of us. I mean, that's pretty good inspiration there, you know, because Dad only had an 8th grade education.
I would teach about Rosa Parks and having the gumption to stand up not only as an African American, but as a woman, and refusing to get off the bus.
If there's anyone I want to pattern my life after in a service life, it would be General Benjamin O. Davis, Jr.
William and Ellen Craft, who were former slaves, inspired me and influenced me because they were slaves and they left Georgia during the Civil War and went to England.
How would you feel if you were not allowed to play with a person because of their color?
He was a staunch leader of the Tuskegee Airmen during World War II.
And to not go into a restaurant with your friends because, oh, they are African American or they are Chinese.
Thanks to Benjamin O. Davis for his leadership and a very strong African American.
I honor those strong women who build strong families and make sure that people like me, when I want to stop and give up, will not stop and give up because they won't let me.
Great-Grandma Lizzie and each and every unknown slave, my honor goes to you.